Is a public art commissioning organisation, and we were commissioned to create a creative programme of installations, interactive performances and basically exciting moments that could happen around the three stations, King's Cross, St Pancras and Euston. And all of that was to basically excite and engage and entertain the masses of people that are expected to come through the stations for the Olympic Games.
In developing the summer cultural programme for Camden, we realised that whilst the stations King's Cross and St Pancras had been working hard on all the transport and logistics for the Olympic Games, that there was a bit of a gap in that nobody had been really thinking about what if there are big queues and how are we going to entertain people and make sure that this area is really vibrant and lively and shows off Camden in its best light. There were particular issues that we were looking at, sort of using arts and culture to alleviate potential problems. One was the potential queues for the javelin train outside St Pancras on both sides. So we asked Up Projects to look at that issue.
Up Projects responded with a programme called Terminus Treats for 2012. We commissioned Bread and Goose, an interactive theatre company, to create live art performances specifically for the queues in St Pancras.
Everyone comes out of the station and sees everybody sort of having fun, and it just lightens everybody's mood. So everyone's walking through happy, and it's really, really good.
It's experienced something I didn't expect walking through, to St Pancras here, but enjoyed it.
We've come up with some stories from around St Pancras. So we did a lot of research, found lots of historical interesting facts, and we've got 4 different stories. So we've got one performance which is based on a legend of Queen Boadicea, who is apparently buried under platform 9. So we have a story in which the waterboard come and they're digging up some land, and 2 of the men know that this treasure's buried and they're trying to find the treasure. And that ends with Queen Boadicea rising from the dead and chasing them through the queue. We have another story about the Beijing Express. We found out that apparently the Chinese are planning to build a railway line from London all the way to Beijing. It's only going to take 2 days to get there. So we thought we'd come up with a story about that, which is also, it incorporates the Chinese Romeo and Juliet, which is called Butterfly Lovers. So that story features a lot of Chinese emblems, butterflies, the dragon, and it's basically a love story where 2 people meet, one from London, one from China. We also have Round the World in 80 Days, a famous story about Phileas Fogg going around the world in 80 days. We're taking bets from the audience to see if he can do it, and then we have 3 people that try and do it themselves in less than 80 days, just in 18 minutes. The 4th one is about John Betjeman, who in the 1960s campaigned to save the beautiful Gothic architecture of St Pancras Station, which was starting with being knocked down, replaced with a concrete block. He formed a protest to save it. He succeeded, and we also incorporate some Charleston dancing and some waltzing, because the last party held at the Grand Midland Hotel was in the 1920s, 1930s.
John Betjeman invited me out to dance. It was good to dance with a famous person.
We've commissioned some artists called Stan's Caf to create one of their step series, which is specifically for the Olympics. It's called Golden Steps, and it's leading people from Euston Station up to St Pancras along the Olympic walkway. And they've created lots of different installations that are painted onto the pavement, and they illustrate the different Olympic activities. And they're actually looking at record-breaking moments. So we've got Usain Bolt's sprint, and you can just see how big his footsteps are, and you can kind of try and copy them. And the idea is that to get people involved and try and guess what the sport is by the footsteps and the little hints that are there, and also by the name. And then what we did is that after Stan's Caf had developed that idea, we invited Rosie Hefford, who's a choreographer, to develop a series of dance performances working with 2 dancers. So they are sort of inspired by the footsteps that are painted on the pavement.
We've approached them in different ways. Some are kind of more dance serious and some are a bit more playful with audience engagement. One in particular is the long jump, which each time is us trying desperately to get as far. There are 2 dancers involved in the project, and even with the help of 2 dancers we're not able to meet the long jump distance that was created in 1908. And there are other ones like the weightlifting, which has had a lot of response from the crane workers up above as Matt tries to lift Alice and weightlift with her. There are other ones like the judo, which are quite playful.
I think it's fantastic, and it just adds to the whole atmosphere, and it just is part of what makes London so magical. And I dragged my cousin along because I'd heard about it already.
I thought it's a fantastic idea that they all come down, get dressed up, lighten up the place, and yeah, just make it better for everybody. We had fun, didn't we?
Yeah. Finally, we created a web platform which contains a collection of apps and fun links and useful local information for people to log into on their mobile phones and use while they're hanging around and waiting in the queues for their trains. We hope that Terminus Treats gives people an opportunity to experience the real creative aspect of Camden as well as London during the Olympic Games.